Today's episode is sponsored by Dice Roll UK. You can never have enough dice. Whether you're looking for shiny click-clacks that make your inner goblin smile, or metallic math rocks that would make a dwarf proud, Dice Roll UK has just what you're looking for. From resin and acrylic to metal and gemstone sets, they are sure to have something you'll absolutely love. Keeping those polyhedral pretties in tip-top shape is important too, so be sure to check out their dice bags and trays. They even have rolling towers and other accessories to complete your tabletop. Shopping small comes with all sorts of benefits. Carl and crew lovingly pack your goodies and ship them promptly, so you can roll your crits and take down your enemies quicker than you can say icosahedron. That's a fancy word for that 20-sided shape. Cruise on over to diceroll.uk and feast your eyes upon the dragon's hoard of dice they have to offer. And if you use the code WICKED, you'll even get a discount. That's WICKED. And now, let's roll.
This is a Wicked Cool Kids production. Hello there, and welcome back to another Wicked Cool Kids podcast. I am today's host, Joe, and with me, as always, I have the delectable Kristen, Jason, and Lee. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh. We were just having a conversation about reverse fondue, and now that's all I can think about. So if I disappear for a little while, it's because I've gone to make some soup to dip cheese into. I can't. That's going to be a serious distraction. How is everyone? How are we all doing today?
Good. I've been out in the garden watering. We finally got sun this week over in Sweden. So we've been all the plants, all hands on deck, out in the greenhouse. I built a whole new bench for the garden, and I've been mowing the lawn this morning as well. So it's been a very productive weekend in general.
So how long until the next snowfall?
At
least a few days.
What are we on? About 6-7 months we got now.
Oh, okay, that's not that. For some reason, I
You
had it in my
sure?
mind.
You say stuff like that, I feel like that's just tempting.
It's
and then there's
been
like a
coming
picture
later
later on.
each year. We'll have snow in 2 weeks probably. That's usually the way. It's like we think we're all good. The sun's out shining, and then one random day in May or June, it just fucking teams down with snow for some random reason. And you're like, where the fuck did the snow come from? Like just like an inch, and it's gone the next day. But it's like, why is it just snowed randomly? But
An inch is enough to ruin your day.
inch is a lot, wouldn't you say, Kristen?
It's huge. It's a massive. It's massive. That it is massive.
I'd say so.
So I've been told.
I've got some on my windowsill now. I've got a bunch of plants, some tomatoes that can probably go out, and a load of peppers, both sweet and hot, which are all getting really tall. Talking of inches, they are, I don't know, like maybe 4 or 5, 6 inches.
That many?
They're from my thumb to my little finger tall, which
For everybody who can absolutely not see that,
is
it's
somewhere.
about that.
It's about that.
that big.
Yeah, it's somewhere
that
around
big,
there.
I feel like I
They
want to
looked
get a
about
ruler to see
3
mine.
to 4 inches there, mate.
It's
Judging
at
on
least
like-
3 to 5. I've got really small hands, you know.
Oh my god.
Really small hands, they make me look really big. But these plants are like probably 6 inches tall, most of them, and they're still in their little propagator that's an inch deep. And I'm feeling a little bit guilty that I've just left these plants to. In fact, I've opened the window so that I'm not too hot, and now they're all getting blown around, and I feel even worse.
Yeah,
I'm
they
a
look
bad
a little
plant
bit
dad.
dramatic dancing behind you there.
I'm a bad plant dad. What can I say?
What is it about? Like as soon as warm weather or spring starts to roll in, everybody wants to do a spot of gardening. Why do you think that is? Why is it?
I think
that's like a thing?
inherently, as humans, we know that good weather means food. And I think
mean-
it's maybe in us naturally. I could be like, I'm
Just the
chatting out
one-
my ass, but it's just like
Yeah.
observation of when the sun comes out, you know you can grow your own food. And we've been doing that for centuries. So maybe it's just like nature or nurture.
And if you want to be outside more often, you can plant yourself flowers and pretty things to look at, right?
Yeah.
Now is the time.
And the benefits of
'Cause
being
you
in
wanna
the
do
sun.
it before it gets too
vitamins
hot,
and-
too.
And whatnot.
There's also the factor that if I'd planted these tomato seedlings in January, they might not have survived quite so well.
Right.
That's like at least for me, that's the controlling factor is just when stuff's going to grow.
Yeah,
I-
I'd be planting stuff all year round. That's just not viable for me to do. So,
Yeah,
but
you've got green hands though, haven't you? That's
yeah,
you. Not a green
I
thumb, a
guess.
green.
whole hands agree. Yeah, I'd love to have like just a continuously ongoing farm. I think that would be my dream. Unfortunately, my location does not. That decides for me when I can and can't plant. So
That would be really cool. I think a lot of the things that I grow all propagate at the same time of year. They don't all fruit at the same time of year, but they all propagate at the same time of year. So I end up like really stressed through end of March to start of May, trying to get everything started and healthy, and then have nothing to do for 2 months.
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
have a
just
glut of
watering them.
things that I need to then eat and do something with.
that's going to be my next few months now. Everything's in the greenhouse, everything's going. It's just a waiting game for the fruit.
I went to buy a new greenhouse the other day and then decided it was probably an unwise investment because I'll end up filling it.
Yeah,
honestly.
I'd like one of those water
Isn't that what you're
propagation stations.
Supposed to do. Like, did you buy it with the intention of not filling it?
Just keep an empty greenhouse.
No, but if you see any of the things that I own, it's like I have, let's say, 3 books. I'm going to buy a bookshelf to put those books on. Well, that bookshelf looks empty. Let's fill it with lots of books. Now I've run out of space for those books. I will buy another bookshelf. Oh, that bookshelf
You're
is
going to
empty.
buy one that was bigger than the amount that you currently have.
I already have like a very small, like not walk-in, just a like shelved unit thing that's a little greenhouse.
Do you have an
And I
allotment,
fill it.
Joe, that you can go to in your area?
I do. There is an allotment not too far, and one of my neighbours uses it. But typically, as is often the case in the UK, the waiting list for the allotment is enormous. But also, my dad has an allotment, and I've seen what a rabbit hole that becomes. So I think I'll leave the allotment stuff to him. If there's anything I really want, like the hops for my homebrew beer, I ask him to grow it, and then just go and collect the produce when he's finished growing it for me.
What's an allotment?
It's a small piece of land that you can rent, and that allows you to plant stuff on it. So because England's very
Like
much
in the
a
community?
city, yeah, because everything in England's pretty much paved, unless you're going like way out into the countryside. Around cities or small towns, they provide this small piece of land, and it's split into maybe 1 meter, 2 meters by 4 meters squares that you like have a rent on, and you can grow your own produce in that like small square.
I have more questions. So how honest are people? Like, are people taking a tomato from that one because theirs didn't yield
I
as much?
think there's
Like,
kind of unwritten rules about it within the community. I think to be accepted.
there are lots of unwritten rules that people break all the time.
Yeah, but I think it kind of polices itself because you form a small community, at least in the ones that I've been a part of. That if one person, like, you're never really there alone. There's always somebody else on one of their other allotments, and I mean, there's maybe
they need night ninja vegetable peelers.
maybe, but there's only ever like a foot between these allotments, or like a path
there's
to
like a
walk
walkway
on.
basically.
Yeah. So there's always somebody else there, so they kind of police themselves anyway, because you don't want someone taking from your stuff. So if you see somebody taken from someone else's, and because you have that
You
community,
smack them on the hand.
yeah,
They
you
also
know
do
if it's
shit
their
like-
allotment or not.
That community policing is ingrained in it because there's a lot of sharing as well. Like at my dad's allotment, everyone knows each other. Everyone shares. Like, there's no point. Everyone on the whole allotment space. The one at my dad's is like about 4 meters wide or 5 meters wide and a good 40 meters long. They're big plots, and there's no point. Someone who's growing like a massive blackcurrant bush at one end of their allotment and a load of tomatoes, there's no point then the person next to them growing
Also
the exact
growing
same
it,
thing.
yeah.
So
So that was my next question. Did they get together and like community plan? I'm
for
growing
sure.
beans this
I mean,
year.
even
they have to.
where I am, the other people in the community, we do that, and we have a autumn market where we get together with all the other people that are growing stuff in the area. And we do stuff. So occasionally we'll go, oh, you're selling eggs. We've got a bunch of eggs that you can sell. But we see that you're not selling this crop, but you grow it. We can sell that with our produce. And then, you split the proceedings that way. as well. So, and I feel like if you're in that kind of community, you're probably not in that kind of nature of taking things from other people anyway, in that same headspace. More so than not, I guess, because you're there to grow your stuff, and then like everyone else, you're not finding people just randomly walking in and robbing vegetables. If you're going to rob something, you're going to break into a house, usually in the UK, and rob valuable stuff, jewelry, consoles, TVs, that kind of stuff. You're not going to go into an allotment and rob some vegetables.
No, and they are gated as well. They're
Yeah.
normally like padlocked and gated, so it's a lot of effort to go and steal a tomato. Right.
Yeah, for sure.
We have a lot of
sooner go to the
like
supermarket.
honesty boxes and stuff up our way, where they just stick their whatever they're selling outside the side of the road on the back lane or something,
Yeah.
with a little box and a padlock on, and you pay.
Yeah, we have that as well. We use Swish over here, which is like a PayPal but Scandinavian, and it's
like
an instant.
Venmo
It's it's a QR code, and within the app, you scan the QR code and then send money directly to the other person's bank account.
Cool.
But there's a couple here that have just an egg box outside, and when they have excess eggs, they put them out there in like a chilled freezer with like ice packs kind of deal, and then just a QR code, and when you scan the QR code, there's already a price determined within that QR code as well. So you just scan it, see the price, click accept, and then take it, and it's kind of a trust box scenario.
I should look into something like that for my dad, because he invariably every year grows way too much of a couple of different he grows way too much of everything, but there's always a couple of things that there's so much that they've got like 3 freezers in their house, and one of them is dedicated to just this year's crops that he picks and puts straight in the freezer because there's too much to use. And then there's a second freezer that is dedicated to probably last year's crops because they still haven't got through them all.
Yeah.
And then they're still like putting stuff out on the roadside trying to get rid of it. And my dad, he doesn't even bother with an honesty box. He just puts it out on the roadside and essentially says, take me, please. Like,
I think as soon as our trees start producing, we'll be like that, because we'll just have an abundance of fruit that we won't know what to do with, even if we are feeding to the chickens and stuff. That we'll probably just put them at the side of the road and let people take. Because there's dog walkers and stuff in the area, and some older couples where we live that just don't have the energy to farm, but will take the dogs on a small stroll in the evening. They can walk past and then just grab whatever produce is excess as well, which is quite nice.
cool.
But I find it really helps amazing people. I want to bring it back to like a tabletop subject. Knowing the ins and outs of farming can really help with your roleplay when you're dealing with NPCs that are farmers and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, snow time happens. Why don't you just grow powder melons?
Without the Stardew knowledge of that.
There's
Was it
It's
frozen
literally-
carrots?
It's the first thing that cropped up. Ba-dum. But yeah, it's. I can't today. Yeah, it's Lee's fault because he made us grind hard on Stardew so we could get 100% completion.
Back it up. Let's just acknowledge now, you may have been bitten, or I don't know, got an addiction or something. Because what was it? It was something ridiculous how much hours you racked up in a week. We thought Anna had done a lot, and then I looked at yours and it was like unreal for a week.
Was
30
this at
million.
the same time that we were talking about Anna's? Was that like
No,
Kristen was in the episode saying, "Oh
this
yeah,
is-
Anna's hours are so bad."
I didn't say any. No, I don't think I said. I'm gonna have to listen to it. I don't think I played my judgeridoo on that.
No,
No.
I don't
But-
think you did either. I'm being mean.
What I'm saying is,
Kristen has played
I had to cook all of the
64.9
food,
hours.
and so that hit me hard, right in the heart, because that's what I do. I friggin' Encanto, I'm the mom that's like, I'm gonna heal you with my food, and so I like in real life do it. And so you were like, Kristen, you got to cook all the food, and then I was like, God damn it, I got to cook all the food, but then I got to be friends with this person so I could get the recipe to make the food that I'm missing. And oh my God, now I have to go and fight in the caves to get the last recipe. And then I kept dying because I'm clearly not cut out for combat. So
You did it though. Absolutely
I
smashed it.
did
Hats
it
off
by
to you.
buying 60 million books to level myself up because I can't fight in the caves.
Yeah, but you know that's a
But
way
I
to do
did
it.
it. Yay.
How many hours
Congratulations.
do you think you spent
Anyway.
on the game in total, Kristen?
I'd rather not talk about it because the last
Are you
time
sure?
I looked, I
Because
went,
I've got the answer.
no, I'd rather not talk about it. I'd rather you not even say it. I
I
looked
think
at it and
we'd
I was
like
like,
to know.
I am so ashamed.
You've played
but
more
I'm-
hours than I have played on it.
Yeah,
And
well, you also have
I
been
have
taking a break
played
from a lot of things.
139 hours on that game.
No, because the last time I looked, which was still before I had all of the recipes, it was like 159 point something. So
Yeah.
I know it's obscene. And we can just leave it at that. So the next thing I wanted to talk about
Lee
was...
is just before we go on. Lee is double the amount of hours that you've been on it, though.
Oh my god, Lee.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Well, then.
in my defense, I
Mhm.
You
leave it
host
on.
the server, yeah.
Yeah, so I just leave it on. So sometimes I'm not even there. But yeah.
Uh-huh.
But most of
But
the
we
time you
yeah
are.
we
It's
managed to do it. We got the 100%
We did.
achievement perfection.
We did. And we're
On it.
like 0.4% of people who did it.
Yeah.
So really we deserve a trophy instead of all of the shade that you want to throw
Okay.
around about how many hours we put into
Kristen,
it.
you've
That's
played
called
more hours
dedication.
than Evelina has played on it as well.
Yeah, well, she has a real life job where she saves people. I just have to save a farm and cook for people. That's what I have
That's
to do.
fair.
I did actually have a topic of conversation though for this week. I'm so proud of myself.
Yay.
Yay! So I was thinking about games like board games, tabletop games that taste like D&D, like they're a little reminiscent of it, because sometimes you can't get a group of people together, or sometimes they're just not D&D players, or they're too young, or whatever. And there are a couple of different ones that we have that I really like. One of them, Lee had recommended to me. It was called Dungeon Mayhem.
card game.
And then we bought that. It's a cute little card game, and they have different things that you do, and there are tokens, and you have to basically get people's hit points down. There are a couple of variations on that. Monster Madness, which I haven't played yet. I keep picking it up and then going, I'm gonna put it back. We'll see how much we play the other ones in the meantime. But those both have expansion packs to them, and they're really cool to bring with you because they're small little, containers instead of this big board game. Another one that we really like is called Here to Slay, which is by the company is Unstable Unicorns, and that's a game in and of itself, which is really fun to play. Have any of you guys played Unstable
No.
Unicorns?
Don't
I
think
brought
I
it. I brought it with me to your wedding, Lee. I brought a couple of things to our wedding, and we never wound up playing any of them because we were too busy having fun and stuff.
I know. It was chaos.
But yeah, that one's really fun. You have to pick a class. So you can be it's not called cleric, but it's basically a cleric or a paladin. And there's a ranger and there's a rogue, and I think they call the rogue a thief. But there's a barbarian, and kind of like Root that you play, Jason, they have an animal associated with each one of the classes. That's super cute. And then the last one that I was thinking of was called Castle Panic, which I think, Joe, do you have Castle Panic? I feel like we've talked about it before.
We've talked about it, but I don't have it.
You don't have it. It's cute. That does have a board, and basically there's a castle in the middle, and there are monsters that come out of the forest, and sometimes there are boulders that roll across the board, and if they get through to the things that you haven't fought yet, they will penetrate the walls. So there's like a barricade outside of the wall, and then there are castle walls, and once they get inside, they have to go around in a circle and basically destroy
like
your
a tower
castle.
defense sort of game.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
interesting, especially playing with the makeup of people that I have in my home, because one of them in particular loves to be competitive, but really the way to win it is by being a team, and because you can trade cards, and you have to look and plan ahead and say, okay, well, I have this Blue Ranger card that is going to work on their turn, so I can preemptively trade with them, so they'll be able to defeat this monster when it comes to their turn. So I like the forethought that goes into it, but the teamwork that will inevitably make it so you win. You can play it competitively, so then whoever beats the most monsters at the end, there's a certain amount of points associated with each one, and you can come out on top. But But especially with children, I like to encourage the teamwork, especially with my children in particular, who don't, at this age, love to get along.
Yeah.
And it's cute. They have a junior version, so for the littler ones, although my littlest one does just kind of tag along and play with us instead of the older ones going, yeah, we're playing a baby game. But yeah, do you guys have any? I know obviously Lee has the Dungeon Mayhem game. Are there any other?
Not so much. I've got a few games that are variations of Call of Cthulhu. So I've got Arkham Horror, but that takes a long time to set up. The short version, Elder Sign, which is basically just some dice and you roll it and draw some cards and stuff. That's great. Munchkin, that's pretty much D&D, but a humor version of it.
Not buying it. Yeah.
It's good. It is really good fun, but it's full of backstabbing, cheating, and everything. So if you're not a fan of that, it even stipulates in the rules somewhere that if you can get away with it, it's allowed. So you just have to convince people that that's fine. If you can cheat, you can cheat.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about it. I have a game that I do play with Evie that we picked up. It's not D&D at all. It's Kids Against Maturity.
Oh God.
It's
we
it's
have
like
that.
Cards
And
Against Humanity, but
some of the cards.
Yeah, they are questionable, aren't they?
They are, and I'm like, I hope to God they go over their head. But then, of course, the older they get, we lock eyes, and I'm like, I know that you know.
Yeah.
And then I'm appalled, and I can't say anything because I don't want to be.
Uncaught clap. Well, what I thought would be cool is if we pick that up and get together sometime and play the Kids Against Maturity one and see how we can ruin that like we do everything else, because we're pretty good at the normal one. So I think we could twist it and make it pretty
filthy.
rough.
Yeah. There's Evelina's sister's fella's got the Cyanide and Happiness one. I think it's Choking Hazard or something like that, and it's got the little animated short of Cyanide and Happiness in different like picture frames, and then it's like got the certain amount of cards that are coloured that are the beginning part of the joke, and then there's always like a punchline card as well, which is pretty funny. But that kind of the hit point one that you talked about first, Kristen, straight away I was like, it's kind of like, is that very similar to Magic the Gathering in some way?
I don't know, because remember the one time I tried to play it, the whole thing crashed on me. I don't know.
It's very.
He would have to answer.
Yeah, it's very. It's similar in a way where you probably just play a mono deck with no land cards.
Okay.
So you just have like spell and attack cards in your hands that you can use depending on.
So there's no cost to play down. There's like one card per turn or one monster per turn.
Unless it stipulates that you can play, because some of them say like, you can play this card as well as this card.
Okay.
So, it's
this card
very,
grants you a
very.
shield.
Yeah, so it's like a simplified MTG or like Yu-Gi-Oh based card game.
Yeah, it's really simple, nice and easy to pick up and great.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's been on my boy's wish list for ages, and I keep hoping that someone else will buy it for him, because I've bought him so many games I feel like I'm oversaturating with stuff that I want him to play. I kind of want it to come from someone else at this point, but I might have to just buy it.
Another good one's that one we played while you're over, Jason. That Battle Wizards
one, yeah. That was a good one, though.
Yeah, it's really simple to pick up.
I like the different kind of name. We played that on VR though as well, haven't we?
Yeah, we played that. We all got around on tabletop and played that. That was good. I think that's another one that's the more people you get, the more interesting that gets, because you got so many people you can cast spells at and stuff, and it just becomes chaotic.
Yeah, I quite like those like party card games. They're really interesting. It gets people like talking and laughing about the same things. I think it's really great for bonding in friend circles and families to play those kind of ones where it's light competitivism, but then you got like the other end of the spectrum where you're working as a team, but you're fighting very difficult scenarios, such as like Gloomhaven is essentially a D&D campaign where you're all the players and you're working off a manual that says you go here next after making this decision, or if you make this decision, do this thing. I feel like that would be a good like family bonder one, but you definitely need maybe the kids to be a bit more mature, I'd say 13 and up, before you
Yeah.
start getting into something like get a game that big.
Yeah, I have one for either end of the spectrum. There's I got my boy Bag of Dungeon, which is a brilliant game. It's not cheap, but it's brilliant because it's 1 to 4 players, and it's a tile-based dungeon crawler. You take turns turning over a tile, and it reveals either like a left or a right or a go forward or a cross section, or it might reveal a monster, or it might reveal an item, and you have to make your way through this dungeon until all of the monster tiles have been revealed, and then a key appears, and that's how you get to the exit. But when you pick up the ring that also appears at that point, then a dragon spawns at the exit, and you have to fight the dragon to get out. And it's this balancing
Spoiler,
act.
Joe.
happens-
Ruined it now.
Come
I can't
on.
play it.
That's how
Can't buy
every
it now.
single rail. But it's this balancing act between because you acquire items by picking them up, but also by defeating monsters. So do you go around trying to defeat lots of monsters to acquire lots of items to make the dragon easier? And do you, if you're working in a team, do you all like let one person have the items, or do you does someone hog them? It's been cool because the kids have. My boy's played it on his own. I played it with him, and we've played it with a neighbour kid. And watching kids play together changes the dynamic, because sometimes they play nicely, and sometimes they become a little bit selfish, and they're like, "Well, I want that item, so I'm going to fight all the monsters until I get that item. I'm going to keep all the items," and then they get to the dragon, and the one with no items dies, and the one with all the items is like, "Well, you're supposed to be helping me," and they're like, "Well,
Yeah.
you took all the items, so I can't."
What can I do?
And you can, in theory, you can there's a bunch of different variations of the game mode. So there's one where you can just try to fight your way out and be the first one out, or you can work as a team, or you can it's a really good, and because it's tile based and it is literally just turn over a tile and then place it where the rules allow, it is different every single time. You have characters. There's a dwarven fighter, an elven ranger. There's like 4 characters that you can choose from that have a race and a class. So it's like a really soft entrance to that world, and there's dice rolling when you're fighting the monsters. You roll dice, and so do the monsters. And the number of dice you roll and your proficiency bonus, your plus or minuses, are just written on the card. So you might reveal a zombie who rolls 1 dice and has a +1, and you might be the elf who has a 2 dice and a +0, and literally it's just whoever rolls the higher number wins that kind of round of combat, and the difference between the dice is how much damage is done to the other.
Mhm.
So if the zombie rolled a 6 +1 and the elf rolled a 3 and a 4, they beat the zombie's score by 1, so they do 1 damage to the zombie, and it just goes back and forth until one person's down, and you have a number of it's a really, really well thought out game. I highly recommend it, especially for kids, because the boy plays it on his own when I'm too busy, and he still enjoys it. It's not like he needs me. The other one, for the other end of the spectrum, Lee, you mentioned Cthulhu style games. I happened across a social deduction party game called Psychobabble, which is the tagline is a social deduction game of dreams, paranoia, and insanity. Fundamentally, one person is insane and doesn't know it, and as a group, you've got to work out who the insane person is, and there's a bunch of cards that you get given to establish that. And it reminded me a lot of the Cthulhu mentality. There's no dice rolling, but just the way that the game makes you think and the way that it makes you interact with each other put me in mind of Cthulhu. And I had my mum playing that with me because the kids wanted to try it, and I was like, "Oh, we need more than 2 players, Mum. Come join." And she actually ended up enjoying it and found herself not as, she was very apprehensive at first, but so that was a really good one for getting maybe older people involved.
Spoiler alert, the insane person is always me. Just say.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
bit,
not
bit like Clock Tower.
Anyway. So anyway,
Mhm.
I think there was another one that you reminded me of that's similar to Here to Slay. So basically you have these monsters that you have to try and beat, and there's dice rolling. There's another one. I think it actually might have been the first one we had gotten. It's called Dragonwood, and it's along the same lines. But I really enjoy that game too. Yeah, that's me. That's what I had decided I wanted to talk about, and I had to write it down and
To
speak
remind
first,
yourself,
so I
yeah.
wouldn't forget about it. Yeah.
It just reminds me of how many board games I've actually got, and it's just fucking too many.
First, we're talking about the amount of hours we play on Stardew. Now we're talking
I
about
know,
the board game collection we got in the basement. It's all right. We'll move along. I will tell you all that I did also have a spell that I wanted you to give me a description of, but I feel like the last couple times I've asked, you're like, oh, well, I mean, it depends on the character. So I'm going to have you all think of a character first. Like, have that in mind.
Ooh.
And then in a
Okay,
little
cool.
bit, I will ask you to describe the spell that I'm
Quickly
thinking.
look at
But
my
you can-
characters.
You can take your time and
I think I
and
might
figure
pick
out what's
my new character for Lee's next chapter.
Well, I mean, do you want to just do it now then?
Slanesh. I mean, I'm
Okay, all right. So I was talking with my oldest, who is very much so into D&D, and we were talking about great spells. And I said, this is perfect, actually, that you're going first. I said, there is a spell that Jason hates me for, and there's a spell that Joe hates me for. And I'm going to choose the spell that Jason hates me for. Jason, do you want to announce what it is?
Is it slow?
It's slow. It's
I knew that was good.
slow. So, actually, I should really quickly pull up the wording on it. So somebody say something in the meantime.
I'm gonna
That
slowly
will.
pull up my character sheet so I can remind
Okay.
myself of what.
So slow is you alter time around up to 6 creatures of your choice in a 40-foot cube within range. Each target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or be affected by this spell for the duration. And the amazing things that it does is the affected target's speed is halved. It takes a -2 penalty to AC and dexterity saving throws, and it can't use reactions. On its turn, it can either use an action or a bonus action, but not both. Regardless of the creature's abilities or magic items, it can't take more than 1 melee or ranged attack in its turn. If the creature attempts to cast a spell with a casting time of 1 action, they have to roll a d20. On an 11 or higher, the spell does not take effect until the creature's next turn, and the creature must use its action on that turn to complete the spell. If it can't, the spell is wasted. They can keep repeating the wisdom save on the end of their turn, and on a successful save, the effect ends. But the range is 120 feet, and it's a 40-foot cube, and it has messed up it has foiled Jason's plans several times, and I love it. If you have an option to grab it, you should grab it. And actually, I was hoping that Scratch would pull it out of his butt. I didn't even think about it, and I don't even know if it's on the Bard spell. I feel like it is, but
I don't know.
when
I
we
had no idea it was so powerful, so I've overlooked it so many
It
times.
is.
Yeah,
I
slow is
wanted to
great.
get to that. It's one of those spells that is so easily overlooked, but can completely destroy your like combat scenario. You're like, I've got this really cool combat. I get 3 attacks per turn. I'm gonna put this super epic monster into it. Kristen's like, slow. You get 1 attack per turn, and we're gonna fuck it up. I'm like, okay, great.
I had no idea. I knew about the slowing of movement and so I don't know. I think I glossed over the attacks thing. I think maybe when I first found that spell, I wasn't experienced enough to realize how many big bads got multiple attacks.
You know what, though? I think it was Correcticus had it, and then he got rid of it.
Yep.
And I was like, and I was just filling in, and I was new, and I was like, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to bust you around, but I can't believe you gave that up.
Yeah, and actually think about it. The one time he did use it, it was to great effect, but it was on a group of orcs who only got 1 attack. And basically all that happened was they moved slower. They weren't casting spells anyway. They were only really using one, so it didn't
We did
have a
prevent
massive
them
impact on
from running away and going to their other
Yep.
location, though.
Yeah,
So
you did.
It
was
essentially
great.
brings those kind of like CR8 creatures that have the multiple attacks, and that right the way down to like a CR3 creature with one spell.
I guess maybe because it's quite by like powerful spell standards, it's quite a low level spell, isn't it? Like you can get
it's
it
third
early
level.
on.
It's third level. It's available to sorcerer and wizard. So if you had remember Scratch came to whatever level and he could learn
take
one
other spells.
spell from any other class.
Yeah.
Or there are certain feats where you can take spells from other classes, and I think it's such a good battlefield control, right? Like
I
you
wish
can completely turn the tides.
we had this discussion it might have been the last episode, just before we had the conclusion of Lee's this chapter of his campaign, where I was saying, "Oh, I wish I could have that. Oh, I can have that. I'm gonna have that." And it was Spirit Guardians. Yeah, okay. I feel like I'm gonna come away from every episode now being like, "Oh, a new thing, a new toy! Hooray! I'm gonna play with it."
Yay!
But actually, in hindsight, Spirit Guardians was a terrible idea for Scratch because I was too scared to get close
into the
enough
combat
for it actually be effective.
Unless you're surrounded.
So I had it ready. I was like, I'm going to use it. I'm
going
going to use. Oh wait, I have to be really close. Maybe I'll just stay back here and do
Just-
nothing.
A great way to use Spirit Guardians is to go in, hope that somebody else has buffed you, right? But you go in and then you take the dodge action. So every attack against you has disadvantage, but as long as you're staying and they're in your range, they're just taking damage and you're chucking and jiving and weaving and
That's smart.
Yeah, you still get the damage
That's very
without
smart.
really sacrificing a lot. The best example of Spirit Guardians that I've ever used in a combat scenario is when a rock picked me up and tried to fly me to his nest, so I pretended to be dead while my Spirit Guardians were on. So I was in its claw, in the air, flying, to the point it was just taking passive damage, and it just dropped me. And I had, Featherfall, so I could just escape the scenario.
Thank God you had Featherfall, because then it would be
I mean, that's why I
damage.
allowed it. It's like, as me or the other people I was with, I was like, I'll let it grab me, I'll play dead, I'm an easy catch, Spirit Guardians cast, I'm just there dying while these things just rip apart its feet.
You are a catch.
Thanks, Jim. But in terms of flavouring slow, and I've got some ash in my brain, I think they would, as they cast it, the ground would become like really like a tar liquid, and you'd have to force themselves through it, like a really thick tar. Like the ground becomes all bubbly and sticky, so it prevents them physically from taking many actions or moving very far.
Nice. Ugh. Would it smell
Sticky
like tar
tar.
too?
Maybe it smelled like molasses, just so it smells a bit nice.
Do you remember Thivara had that spell, Nathair's Mischief? And you would roll a d4 and every, number had a different effect associated with it. And one of them was molasses on the ground.
It always reminds me of when we played Tom's game called Cthulhu and the molasses incident in New York and Boston.
No, in Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah. The for real life
Yeah.
molasses.
Legends say
incident.
you can, on a hot day, you can still smell the molasses. Apparently, it's a legend.
It's not true. But, I mean,
I could go next.
Do it.
If Sam takes it, now that I know Jason really isn't keen on it.
I've learned. I've got preventions now.
You got counter spell, you got magic missile to break that concentration and stop it from the outright.
Subtle spell.
Yeah. But if Sam were to take it, I think because he's more the theme of like forest and vines and stuff, it would be like mushrooms that grow out the ground next to them, and then sort of puff up and explode out this gas that sort of sends them into a sleepage sort of state, or like half a stroke or something like that.
Yeah.
They're just there going, oh, I can smell burnt toast. Oh fuck.
Wow.
Burnt toast.
And then,
Someone burning
and
toast.
then that they just look at each other. Can you all smell burnt toast? Yeah. And that's them.
I don't think you'll need a prevention spell for Sam anyway, Jason, because the way things are going, Elo might
kill him in his sleep.
silence him with a pillow in his sleep while they softly cry to themselves about what they're doing.
Don't tell me
It's
your secret.
the book made me do it.
I
The
know
book
too
made me do it.
You know too much.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Joe, do you have a character in mind?
I do. I'm really glad that you said to pick a character before you said the spell, because I then started scrolling through my character sheets and was like, I wonder what Odo would be like if he could cast spells. Because he definitely... Odo's a fighter and he's an idiot and I love him. And yeah, he goes around wiping mud and blood all over it. Well, no, not blood. Normally fruits that look like blood all over his armor constantly to make it look like he is more war-torn than he is. So all I can imagine for him casting slow would be essentially changing his focus mid wiping crud across his chest. Just look at his enemy and chuck it at them instead. Just pelt them with sticky,
It's like-
thick mud.
Like pocket
Sticky
sand
mud.
in what is it, King of the Hill? Like pocket sand, and throws it at them.
Yep, exactly.
Nice. I
Pocket
love it. As soon as you said Odo, I was like, mud. Gotta be mud.
Yeah.
Little mud pit.
Yeah, it's going to be something disgusting.
Squeaky Swell's like,
Under that armor, he's spotless clean. He's like the cleanest anyone's ever seen. But on top of it, yeah, he looks.
I don't
he looks
know.
grim.
He's traveling around with a Tuza who's like soap,
Yeah.
prestidigitation, soap. Here's this lavender spray.
Yeah.
Well, I can go over the last pod's monster
Oh god.
thing. You can give me your guesses, and the audience can see if they guessed right as well. So that for the last pod, Lee, insert your theme song here that you have made for me.
It's the monster of the week.
There we go.
You're welcome.
Driven by
Nice.
hate, lust, and envy, these fiends are cruel taskmasters of the nine hells. They oversee and order around lesser fiends, taking special delight in seeing those that defy them demoted. They appear as a humanoid husk with dried skin stretched tight across its skeletal frame, and have a foul odour of decay in the air around them. Joe, I'll go with you first, since you're not too sure whether you're in the ballpark area of this, and I'll let Lee go last.
So I there was only one thing that really came to mind for me for this, and it's because I've fought against them a couple of times, and I know it's wrong, but I feel like from what I know about the monster, I feel like it's in the right ballpark. So the one that came to mind immediately was a barbed devil, because they have in their description something about being either driven by desire or like the same kind of ilk of like they basically just want stuff and they're mean. I couldn't remember if there was the line that you just read about them being like basically the bosses of other fiends, and I was like, I can't remember that being a feature of barbed devils. I don't think it's them, but I feel like it's on the right lines. But I don't what it actually is. I've no idea.
Okay, Kristen,
Me.
you think it's
The
you?
answer is me.
The answer's you.
I can't.
That foul
I-
odor of decay. That's why we keep you in America.
I had. Yes. Thank you so much. No, I had a thought when you said it, and now that thought, I'm slightly brain dead today. Most days, but more so today than normal. Yeah, I don't know if I thought like pit, hag, pit, fiend, pit something. And now I can't remember anything.
I'll put Pit
Me.
Fiend down.
I am the answer.
Pit Fiend brackets, Kristen. Go on, Lee.
Before you go on to Lee, I just want to call out the fact that we can all see each other on video, and while Kristen was giving her answer, Lee ran out the room to quickly go and check his source books and cheat.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going.
He
Wasn't
went to
getting
go get the
past it.
picture that he drew for you, right?
I've not drawn a picture.
You've not drawn a
I-
picture this week?
no.
I'm disappointed.
I'm
not
upset
drawn a
about that.
picture.
Go on, Lee.
If you get it right, you have to draw a picture and give it to Jason so he can tokenize it.
Yeah, for
Okay,
Kristen's
I'll
game.
give it a go. Yeah, I'll throw it onto my list of shit to do. Yeah, so the smelling thing is what threw me completely. There was a few I thought, like Joe, Barb Devil at first, or some of the lines like them. I think are they Dretch or something, the fat
Mm.
stinky ones. And I was like, no, they're too low CR anyway, so they wouldn't be high ranking. And then I ended up with the Bone Devil, which is the white one. fits the description and everything.
The Bone
Which is the
Devil
white one.
is exactly right, Lee.
What?
Well done.
Yeah,
You
the white one.
you got that spot on, Joe. You were so close, very close. It's literally the same ballpark. I think the Barbed Devil may be a couple of demotions lower than the Bone Devil in the ranking of the fiends. I think the Barbed, there's some kind of transitional devil between those two devils. But yeah, very close. Pith Fiend, there's a good guess, Kristen.
It's okay. I'm okay with not
But
getting
I think that
monsters.
still keeps
The
Lee
win
in the
for
lead.
me is the win for me is the picture that we're gonna get.
Yeah, that's the best bit.
Really, at this point, now I have to root for Lee, because if this is the way
Yeah,
we're gonna go and we get
Lee
Lee
gets it right.
drawings out of it,
Yeah, let me have to write this down.
Get your sticky.
I
I mean, if you
What?
want to make life easier on yourself, make it an art competition between you and Ellie. Get her to draw one as well.
Yeah, get it. But I didn't know that about the foul smelling thing, because I remember we fought one. I can't remember when we fought one before.
I've
And,
thrown one at you guys. I didn't use the foul smell. You're supposed to roll a Constitution check within 10 foot of it for the smell. I didn't put that in because the CR you were fighting at the time was a little bit. It was much higher than where you guys' levels at. So I was like, I can't totally overwhelm you guys with throws and that, because I'll destroy you. So I took that aspect out of the situation.
I think it was probably I'll destroy you too quickly because you enjoy destroying us.
I don't.
slowly.
There. Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
I like it to be slow enough for you to overcome any danger, but still feel the need to panic. But I have quickly threw together a little description for this pod's one, so I'll read it.
Oh God. Okay.
Read it for you now.
Pressure's on now.
That's not now. I think I'm pretty sure all you guys will get this. So at a
I think
glance,
you highly overestimate.
you just heap the pressure on now for everyone. Like.
It's a goblin.
sure. At a glance,
Okay.
one of these aberrations is enough to assess its foul and otherworldly nature. Aggressive, hateful, and greedy, these aberrations dismiss all other creatures as lesser beings, toying with them or destroying them as they choose. Their spheroid body levitates at all times, and as a great bulging eye sits above a wide, toothy maw, while the smaller eye stalks that crown its body twist and turn to keep its foes in sight. Don't give me the answer. Think about
No.
it. I'll give it to me next.
Draw a picture just preemptively, because we know you know what it is.
Yeah, but I know.
I'm
know what
confident
you guys
that I know
it
the
is.
artwork, but I don't. I'm gonna have to just turn my brain on.
I tried to make them vague enough that it could be a couple of things. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
No, that's
Yeah,
cool.
I feel like I've got that one. Yeah, I should
Of
have.
course you do.
But the thing is, the
are you gonna
more
run
I
out
get
and look at your
right-
source book just before you give the answer next time, as
Yeah,
well?
just give me 2 minutes. Check some. But I feel the more I'm gonna get right, the more pressure I'm gonna put on myself. So I'm gonna end up just falling to pieces because I do.
yeah,
not feel
I'll
well
do a
with too
goblin
much
one
pressure.
day. Be like, I have no idea what this creature is.
It could be
And it will
anything.
really be a goblin.
Yeah, could
It's
be
like,
anything.
kobold's too easy. Can't be a kobold. Big
Oh.
reptilian creature
But,
with wings and breathes fire. He's like, oh fuck, I don't know what this is.
it could be. It literally could be a familiar. I don't know. It
Is that
could
a
be
leaf
anything.
fairy? I don't know.
I love it. I love it.
It could happen, you know.
I can't wait to see your drawing quickly. I'm excited.
Let me write that down so that
I'll
I can
paste
You
draw
said
the
that like 3
description.
times. How have you not written it down yet?
It's
Oh, no,
okay.
I've written down the.
Don't
to
worry.
draw the bone
We will
devil.
remind
Devil.
you to draw Bone Daddy.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we will remind you.
I'll draw the other one as well.
Okay.
But I've recently started. Well, not recently started. I haven't started yet. We started speaking about it, me and Jason. I'm giving proper drawing software a go.
Yes.
So I'm gonna attempt to do some with that and see what I can do.
Yeah, we got
Um,
Coral Paint Studio installed for them, so we're gonna see if we can get some nice drawings out of them.
Excellent. Are you gonna
so
use mouse and thing, or are you gonna get a cheap
yeah,
trackpad? Or what's
I'll
your-
see how I get on with mouse and keyboard for now, and
Yeah.
then
No.
if I'm enjoying it and I can sit there and I've got the sort of frame of mind where I can sit and do it and I've got the attention span, I will pick up something to draw with.
Yeah, you can get them fairly cheap these days. So
Yeah, or just look at the free pages. Like this one right here, which we need to get a pen for, was free in my neighborhood pages. They didn't want it anymore. Or maybe they lost the pen and didn't want to. I don't know.
Yeah, but don't
yeah.
forget where I live. I live in a place where technology isn't really a thing. You still have horse and cart to go to the shop and back. So
you still
send our
getting
mail
pulled
by
like
carrier
horses to go to
pigeon.
co-op.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Okay, well,
That's amazing.
I don't know what to tell you.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting just to see how I get on because I've had the pleasure of drawing portraits of quite a few people on the Discord server. I've done you three, which I was really proud of.
It's still my Discord profile picture.
What do you mean you lost it?
I changed my profile picture to the pig face to upset you, and
Yeah.
then realised I don't know where I put the image that I was using for the lead drawing of my profile picture. So I don't.
You're the odd
I
one
can't
out,
change it
mate.
back. I don't know where it
Yeah,
is.
odd one out.
So now I've got a profile picture of my cats because I don't know where my lead drawing is.
I can find it again. I'm sure it's somewhere.
I think it means you have to do a new
I'll
one,
have to
mate.
read.
It's
I mean,
honestly,
can
it's probably in the chat from.
I was
you.
just gonna
can
say,
probably
can I
find
just
it.
ask a silly question? All you have to do is like search for it in the.
Yeah, it'll be in the chat somewhere. You can tell
The
how
finger
hard
magic.
I've looked so far.
I love that picture that you drew for me so much. I can't find it. Oops, sorry.
I do love it.
It's in a frame on the
I just
wall,
wanted to
isn't it?
upset you with Pigface more.
I know.
Yeah.
You did a good job. You did a good job.
I don't really like to upset you. It's just,
It's fun.
Just
I get
funny,
it.
innit?
I get it. You're not the only one that takes joy.
I grew up with two older sisters. I'm very adept at poking and prodding and upsetting older siblings. So, it's what I do. I'm a professional by now.
A professional prodder.
I'm a professional. God, really? Oh my God.
I feel like that's a like.
Talking of drawing and art and the like, my boy got into Warhammer very recently. I think I might have already mentioned it. His mum took him to the Warhammer shop a couple of weeks back, and then he begged me to take him back again, so I did. And then a family friend bought him some more models, and now he's full on like wanting to collect and paint. And I'm really excited to see what he's going to come up with, and because he's started to get into the concept of thinking about color schemes. But one of the things that he started doing was going online on YouTube and things, looking at painting tutorials and looking at color schemes that might be interesting to him. And I know that a few people, like Jason, I know that you have dabbled in Games Workshop and Warhammer in the past, and I know Abby has done some painting and done some incredible models as well. I'm hoping to like reach out to the server in the next week or two and see if people can post me some pictures of stuff they've painted to give him some ideas and inspiration, because he's collecting Tyranids, which are really intricate.
They can be quite vibrant or quite grimy. Yeah, it depends which way you go with them. They're a really great starter kind of race to go for painting, because they can be so different. But check out Black Magic Crafts on YouTube, and he does. I'll send you the link, Joe. But he does terrain pieces, and if he's building his army and he's painting his models, you might want to display them at some point. Black Magic Crafts gives you all those. It makes it so simple, explains it really well. XPS foam, hot wire, Mod Podge, glue with some black paint in it for the base coat, and away you go. And he teaches all like kind of the dry brushing techniques and stuff like that he uses, which is also applied to the models. And he does it in such an easy way. He's not he wasn't a painter, from what I know of him. He was a construction worker who did it in his spare time and had a bunch of XPS foam because that's his job and he's around it all the time. So he found cheap ways to make terrain rather than buying the 3D printed stuff that cost loads. So it makes them into fun little craft ideas and stuff like that, which are great.
That's really cool.
So definitely
That's
check
really
him
cool.
out. He's a cool dude. Knows his stuff. Explains things really simple. For anyone else getting into modeling, especially it doesn't have to be like Warhammer. Obviously, there's miniatures for D&D games and other tabletop games that you can use. Check out Black Magic Craft.
I was going to ask about that as well, because off the back of this, since we got some of our minis out and we're painting them, and I'm showing him what I've done in the past, and my beautiful pink color scheme orcs that I love. The in-person D&D game that I've been doing, I decided, well, I'm going to print off the maps for the next session, because the people I'm doing it with bought their own minis for their characters and were really excited about them and didn't mind not using them, but I wanted to give them that opportunity. But it got me thinking about, I don't really know where I would get minis from that don't cost the earth. Because I know you can get like 3D printed ones for cheap off eBay and such. But have any of you bought any minis for D&D, or even just for like, I liked the look of it, so I bought it?
Yeah.
I've bought so many minis for D&D. I'm going to show you a couple of the terrain pieces that I made for Black Magic Craft, and I'll have to put them in the thingamajig at some point. But Black Magic Craft taught me how to make these tiles.
Oh, cool.
Oh, they are smart.
And there's a wood one, like a wood flooring ones as well. And it's just 3 by 3 inch kind of things. And then he teaches you stuff like this.
That's cool.
Where it's got
glows.
one of those like disposable little candles in it,
Yeah,
and
like
then
a
Light
light
candle?
things.
and then a bunch of like resin poured on top of it, so it covers the bulb.
I
And
feel
then
really
shines
bad that
through.
nobody else can see this right now. So what
I
you're going to
know.
have to do is take like pictures and videos, and we
Yeah.
can make a little slideshowy
Drop them in.
thing.
Maybe we can put
That
like
was super
a
cool.
like a little link to some pictures somewhere so
Yeah.
people can have a look at them. But I
Those are
mean,
really
check out Black Magic Craft though, because they're literally from his videos is how I learned how to make all this stuff. But yeah, I've
That's
got
really cool.
like Hero Forge minis
Mm.
made of specific characters that I've played in the past. I'm gutted that I got them so early on in my D&D adventure, because there's so much more stuff on Hero Forge now.
Yeah.
That I feel like I could probably update a few of the characters and get them reprinted again. But they sell the STLs for 3D printing. So you have a 3D
Oh,
printer
cool.
or somebody who's got it, you
Just
can
print
get it
yourself.
$5.99 for the STL.
Whoa.
Otherwise,
Oh,
it's
that's
like
really good.
£15 to get it printed and shipped. But they do
Yeah.
offers on.
I mean, because like our local library has a 3D printer that you can just go and use. So that's good to know. I have a couple that I've purchased from our local game store. And I also, for like bulk ones when we do play in person, I have a bunch that we got off Amazon, and they're gray, so we probably could paint them if we wanted to, but I don't have time for that. Or
No
the
one
skill
does.
for that. There are people in my house who do have skill for that. They also do not have time for that. So right now they are just gray, sad things. But yeah, there are a bunch if you need like
It doesn't have to be.
hordes of things.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be so advanced though. Get one of the base coat sprays, and then pick an adjacent color that you like, and then just paint on the higher points of the model in the opposite color. And then you got like a generic thing. You can go. I mean, this is just. I got an air gun, but you don't need an air gun to do it. But this is just a
It's
green.
easy. I got my air gun. Yeah.
This is just a green and white fade with some gold on the front, and it's just those two colors.
That's pretty cool.
That looks good. That does look
And
good.
just
You
like
sound like
nice
you don't
little
have 4
ghosts.
children.
I mean, I don't. I just got 8 chickens. But it's the same thing, isn't it? And then you
Yeah,
can
sure.
go.
Do it
It's
with
the same thing. Yeah.
You can do it a little bit more. You can't really see them. I have to take pictures of them. You can get in depth with them, but it doesn't need to be. Enjoy the process. It's the process that you get the enjoyment from once it's complete.
Didn't we just even talk about that this morning? You don't
Yeah,
have
just have
to
fun.
be a good
So-
artist to create.
This
That's
is
the process.
a Hero Forge mini that I printed of a little goblin that I played, and on its like little kilt, it's got like a little checkered pattern, so you can go into that kind of
Yeah.
fine detail.
Is that the one that you told us about that had the really big weapon that was like a
Yeah,
disadvantage for?
He had the war
Yeah.
pick that he used to like
Yeah.
Beyblade spin around and use. But you guys will see all these when you're over. I'll whip them out for the game while you guys are over, so you can see them.
Yeah, we 100% have to do that. I might bring some of my shit over just so it gets the cobwebs off it, because when I first started playing D&D, I did run like a couple of sessions in person, but that slowly died a death. But me being me, I go into the deep end and go from 0 to 100 extremely fucking quick. So I have treasure chests like this, just fucking full of miniatures.
Oh my God.
That I can't use because I don't have games in person. I've got like the spell cards and
You're
Oh,
wrong.
look at that
You
little
can still
mimic
use them.
chest.
When
I
you're
got
when you're DMing
yeah.
for us, and if you're on camera, instead
Which he
of
never
displaying
is
a
because
token,
he's-
just hold it up to the screen and do the little actions.
yeah, maybe.
And then he
But
does
yeah,
a
I got
You should get a little
I got
green
some-
screen, mate. I'm going to pitch this for you now. I seen a guy who did a green screen dice roller, so he rolls it and the dice roll across his camera screen. And he's got like a camera facing down, and he obviously green screens out the actual mat. You could do that, and have like just little figures green screened into your camera, and then you can like play them like little puppets.
yeah,
I can't.
that might be cool. That's pretty cool. But I've just got so much miniatures that I want to use. I got Reaper Bones was
Reaper
what
Bones,
I used.
yeah,
Yeah, so you can.
they're monster ones.
So I
Fantastic.
even went to the extent of going, oh, I can put these things together, and I got all the paints and crap, the stands, like bits to put together and things. But sadly, I don't have anybody to play in person with, so
mate,
it just gets all left in a box under my
Bring a
desk.
few unpainted ones. We'll do a miniature painting 101 session while you guys are over. You can use all my paints that have been sitting there for ages because I don't get to use them either, so I don't paint them. But I've got a bunch of minis here that for anyone who doesn't have a mini, we can do a little 101 painting session.
Just half my
Got the
suitcase
air
will be
gun
just
there
like
as well. You
fucking
can choose your
miniatures.
colours to airspray it. So, yeah,
Awesome.
I feel
like a
like
lot of
I'm
stress.
excited.
it's not a
It's
lot of
not, it's
stress.
wonderful.
It's usually painting
It's
models.
wonderful.
What's the worst that can happen?
Have
it's-
any of you ever been involved in a decision-making process of mine? The answer is all of you. I will not
No.
decide what color until the very end.
That's
I know,
okay.
because
You don't
I'll
have to.
decide for you.
Well, good thing
I'll
I've
go,
got this colour
"It's
chart,
these."
Kristen, right? That sit next to me all the time because I also struggle picking colours. So you can refer to my chart that I made, and then you can see which colours work well together because I put them side by side to make those kind of decisions easy.
Okay, fine.
Or why don't we just roll a dice and do a winter?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
You roll the dice for a colour. That'll be a good one. And we could all paint the same. I've got a bunch of the same model there that we could all make.
and see what comes
Yeah.
out.
See what colour scheme comes out best. We roll a
That'd be
couple.
Love it.
And then we'll roll dice. Whoever gets the highest gets to pick the colour scheme first. And then it goes down in order. And whatever you're left with for the last person.
Yeah.
Gertrude.
Can't wait. Can't.
It'd be
wait.
like black
That's gonna
and
be
brown.
great.
Be like the last person.
Yeah.
Be like, I'll do anything with that.
I can make it work. It's fine.
I've always liked my shoes looking like they've stepped in poo. That's about all the time we have for today, unfortunately. I'm excited to see Lee's drawing. I'm excited to see some more minis, and I'm excited to hear what the next spell description is going to be, because you have run out of people to upset with your spells now. So we'll see what
I don't
comes
think there's a
next.
spell that I've upset Lee with, so challenge accepted.
You can't upset me with a spell.
I assumed that was magic missile. My mistake. Cool. Okay. Well, we'll find out what spell upsets Lee next week. Thanks everyone for listening, and thanks you guys for joining us. And yeah, if you can't be cool, be wicked. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
Wherever you found us today, don't forget to like and subscribe for more great content, and if you want to find out more about what we do, how to support us, pick up some merch and find links to our friends like JB Media, visit us at wickedcoolkids.co.uk.
I gotta be in a mood to bite it.
To bite a
It's
cheese
not
string.
Lee. It's not an ice cream.
That's how you eat all food. You just fucking go to town. Yeah, it can be.
Did
Freeze it.
You eat. Is that how you eat tomato soup as well?
Yeah, just fucking bite it.
Bite it.
Dude, it's not frozen cheese though, dude.